Good morning, everyone. It's David here at Bali and Beyond Project Awakening's live Facebook, and we have Pam Purnell with us this morning, and I'm just stoked to see what happens and what comes through. We were just saying that we're excited that we don't know, and that's it, the way it is here every Monday morning. We just never know what's going to happen. So the first thing that I'm going to do, and I do this often when I'm sitting with people like one-on-one, and which I get to do quite a bit, is light a candle to signify, spirit and the third entity. And we just had a little moment together where Pam grounded us. Mm-hmm. We asked to be guided and to give the message that needs to be heard this morning. So the candle, we're up and running. Pam, it's great that you're here.
Thank you for having me today. I'm very excited to chat with you about meditation and my journey. It really is an honor.
It's fun. Our vision of having a meditation space in every home and every place of work. And when I shared it with Pam a couple of weeks ago, and she said, "Wow." And I'm always stoked when somebody, gets it.
What really struck me about your story was I love the idea of having a meditation space in every home, but how you're doing it, creating a kit for people, making it easy. If someone has never meditated, they may not know even where to start. And just having a stool and an altar, I mean, you don't need that, but it's nice to have the space that when you look at every single day, it encourages you to meditate. Like anything, we do better when we have routines, whether it's going to the gym or meditating. If we know a certain time and place, and in your home having these beautiful stools, it's creating a place of mindfulness where we can be centered, and it's a great way to start our day.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Well, we talked about who's building them, and
yes.
My vision of maybe eventually having them built in India by the Tibetans, and I really saw your eyes light up around that.
Yeah, well, even just how you were sharing that currently, the stools are being built and they're employing those in Bali who otherwise would not have a job. They're handmade, reusing. I mean, recycling is always a good thing. And the fact that you use a non-toxic ecopoxy on the stools, I really love. Taking chemicals out of my home is really a priority to me. I struggle with autoimmune issues, and the more chemicals I have, the more my autoimmunity tends to flare. So the fact that we know everything has a vibration by using a chemical-free epoxy, really, you're just setting yourself up for having a higher frequency and vibration when we meditate.
Yeah. It's interesting that I have a friend in Bali. They're actually, my stools, they're made in Java.
Oh, Java.
And a friend in Bali, my buddy Stephen, and Stephen tipped me off to find this guy in Java who has these eco finishes. Mm-hmm. And I went to see this guy, and he's a Sufi. Sufism is a kind of a branch of Islam, mm-hmm. and it's a very deep spiritual practice. Mm-hmm. And so when I met him, and he and I ended up spending like 2 hours and his English is not really good, but we really connected on in the spiritual conversation. Mm-hmm, and I never really met a Sufi guy, and so it was cool. So I not only are the finishes eco-friendly, and that's his mission in life, and he has a great little company, but I think that they're infused with a pretty high vibration.
Absolutely.
Because he's a high vibration guy, and everything in his shop was like that.
Well, and to be able to access these stools here in Calgary, but North America, I believe you ship worldwide. It's a treat to have. I mean, sometimes it's hard to find stools like this that are so beautiful. So I'm very grateful that you brought them in.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So part of our mission is to help people to kind of demystify meditation, mm-hmm. to make it easy and inviting for people. And I've been interviewing folks who have come to my store for the last year, and my question has been, do you meditate? And lots of people will say, well, I should, mm-hmm. or I've tried it and doesn't really work for me.
Right.
Or I can't make my mind stop, you know, and so this is how this came about, you know,
Right.
to do these on Monday mornings, is that we want to share as much information as we can to take the mystery out of it. It's, I mean, the questions that people have, and the, you know, reasons, the benefits, you know, what are the benefits of meditation, so that people are more attracted to,
Sure.
you know. And I think that if people knew a third of the benefits, they'd be meditating 2 hours a day. So can you tell us a bit how you started?
Yeah, so with my journey, I was an elite athlete training 25 hours a week.
Stop it.
Yeah, 5 days a week.
What were you doing?
Martial arts. So
Wow.
I was training, teaching karate, kickboxing. I was teaching cardio kickboxing. And I was going to university at the same time, working as well. And I was go, go, go. And my body eventually got to the point where it crashed. And it was difficult for me just to go to school, have enough energy. And I went from being a high-performing athlete to, you know, wanting to sleep all the time. Something isn't right. I went to my GP. He was well-intentioned, but just couldn't offer me any solutions. So at that point, I was willing to try anything. And a very trusted friend of mine, someone I respected, you know, I looked at him because he had accomplished a lot in his young life.
First name?
His name was Andrew.
Andrew, yeah.
He wrote The Power of Focus for College Students.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so, you know, in my mind at that time, that was what success was to me.
Yeah.
And so he said, you should see this energy healer, which I didn't understand. I didn't know much about. But if Andrew is vouching for her, I thought I should go. And I went, and physically I started to feel better, and I didn't understand it. But one thing the healer noticed is she goes, your brain doesn't stop. It's constant go, go, go. And that's very true for me. I have a hard time shutting off my brain and my thoughts.
You can relate to that.
Yes, I can. So I was that person, and she said, you need to meditate. And of course, me being an athlete, I went, all right, well, I can do this. And I sat down and I would try, and my brain would just go, go, go. And I went, well, I can't meditate. But me being stubborn, I went, no, Pam, you can do this. And so I started going to guided meditations. And it was at the guided meditations where, by following the person leading me, following their voice, I was able to really start to feel what meditation should feel like, and going from your beta brain waves down to your alpha and your theta. We can talk about this here more in a minute. But I really was able to understand, okay, I'm feeling this. It's like anything, you know, if you're teaching someone how to play baseball, you show me and I watch and then I can do. It's always easier. So that was my challenge with meditation, is I just went, what the heck am I supposed to be doing? You know, a few tips that Olga gave me, that was a healer I was working with. One thing she said is, thoughts will come and go. You can't prevent thoughts from coming. So what you want to do is acknowledge the thought, place it in a bubble, or see it on a leaf, and just send it on its way, acknowledging that you will be, you will be dealing with that thought after. But again, just remembering, don't get too frustrated with yourself, and have compassion, because thoughts come and go, and the more we send them off with compassion, the deeper we can go with our meditation.
Nice. I can feel it.
Yeah.
It's funny, when you've been to that spot, it's so easy to drop into it.
That's right. And for the right brain people like myself, you know, I always felt meditation was, I just didn't know what the tangible benefits are. You know, I'm one of those people. Let me see the science. And so if you're that person, we measure on EEG brainwaves, and how we operate in our day-to-day frequency is what's called on a beta brainwave. And so this is where we operate when we're awake, it's what we do when we're working, but it's also a place that can cause anxiety, irritability, and when we're in a beta frequency too long, it actually lowers our immunity. When somebody drops down into meditation, the next stage that they go to is an alpha frequency. So when you do something you really love, a hobby, for example, woodworking, painting, riding your motorcycle, you're in the flow, you're in the zone. Whenever you're in the zone, that's when you drop down into an alpha frequency. And from a practical perspective, when we're in this, creativity surges, we start to connect with our higher self. And that's why when we say we meditate, we can get the answers that we're looking for, because we shut off the beta frequencies that maybe no longer serve us.
The busy beta.
The busy beta. I like that, the busy beta. And we drop down into a place where our brain can slow down and really hone in. And if you go down to focused alpha, and the next place would be theta. Theta is what you enter when you're in deep meditation. It's also the state when you're about to fall asleep. And this is really where consciousness slows down, and the subconscious we can have access to. And this is why sometimes, you know, when our subconscious is ruling and we're not seeing it, when we meditate, again, we can start to get a glimpse into our subconscious and really maybe what's ruling us in an unhealthy way, or just any answers that you're looking for. And actually, when you're in theta, this is where your immune system starts to heal. So if you are struggling with any physical issues like I was, you know, by staying in that beta state, you're actually wearing down your immune system. It's really important to drop down to alpha and theta to give your body, and it's the same when you sleep, but this is when your body repairs and restores itself. So again, we see the very tangible physical benefits of meditation.
Does it ring? We have high-tech system. We're on my iPhone, and did we forget to put it on? We did. Anyway,
it is now, though.
We'll get back to you. Anyway, it's great. Well, super. Like I get that. You know, I mentioned earlier that I'm active in the 12-step world, and when I go to a meeting, like in a 12-step meeting, I have to sit for an hour, quiet, and listen to other people, and that magic happens. Yeah. You know, and I imagine it's the presence of spirit. But it's also dropped into into alpha or into...
That's right. Yeah. And I think it's important for people to know that you really can meditate anywhere. If it's at a meeting, it doesn't mean your eyes have to be closed and centered. It's lovely to be able to doing it in front of this environment, but you can do it. I think what's really important is if someone's at their desk, you're in beta wave, you're going, you're busy. I know with myself, with my job, I forget to be present. I'm always thinking, what do I have to do today? What's on my list? How long do I have for this meeting? What time is it? I jam so much in. And I would say I'm not unlike other people. And when we're in this state, by not being present, we tend to allow synchronicities not to happen. So the best thing that you can do is take a breath. Our bodies tend to not be oxygenated because we're in beta state. We tend to shallow breathe. We breathe up here. We don't want to fill our lungs. We want to be filling our tummies. You take a deep breath in, and you want to expand that belly. Oh, David, you look great. But, you know, if you look again at studies on the oxygenation levels of our blood, we don't do a good job oxygenating ourselves. Again, this can impact our health, but when we stop and we take a breath, what it does is it signals to our brain, our hormones, that we're ready to calm down, slow down, we become present. And when we're present, we're not thinking about the past or the future, living in the moment. This is when we're signaling to ourselves, okay, I'm here, I'm breathing, slowing down, and like I was saying, you know, synchronicities can happen. And what I mean by that is, if we're always rushing around thinking from just here, we tend to miss. So, for example, the other day I was going to a coffee shop, and logically, it made more sense to go to one block away. For work, oftentimes I'll have to stop during the day and send some emails. Rather than just being busy, I took a breath, connected, and went, where do I need to be working from? And all of a sudden, an image of this other Starbucks popped in, and I'm a Starbucks junkie. So that was not a bad thing. I went to this coffee shop, and there was a friend that I hadn't seen for a while.
Isn't that great?
Yes. Yeah. And so, you know, in the flow. And for myself, you know, this is one of the biggest benefits that I notice. I've always been a person who's been very goal-driven, focused. And for me, when I'm trying to reach those goals, you can push, but it feels like you're going up a mountain sometimes, pushing a big boulder, right? Because you're trying to do it all on your own and maybe not tapping into the divine source that can really guide you. And so when I tap in, I just notice how I run into the people I need to run into. I meet you, for example, with Earl, right? And I truly believe that if I don't meditate and connect, one thing I do when I meditate is it's really important for me to ground, because I know I'm a person that operates in beta and I tend to have anxious thoughts. When I ground and center myself, it allows me to see the world from a different viewpoint.
No, it's funny you say that. My whole year, this last year, has been. In January, I went to see Tony Robbins in the Business Mastery course, and Tony, you know, I mean, there was tons. It was 5 days of you know, unending content, and he was on the floor most of that time. He's amazing. But the one thing that really clicked with me is the you know, what was more important. He asked the question: strategy, story, or state of mind. And a lot of people, there was 2,200 people there, put their hand up for strategy. And I was, no, I don't think so. And he kind of had some fun with us, and he said, no, you guys, it's state of mind.
So explain when you say state of mind.
Well, you know, if I'm in a state of gratitude, if I'm in a state of love, and feeling love, sending loving thoughts, you know, focused on service, you know, those are states of mind that make me, I believe, receptive to what you just spoke about, which is if I'm running the show, you know, it's going to be quite limited.
That's right.
But if I open up to the possibilities through meditation, and through, you know, intention, service, and giving back, and, you know, having a mission and a vision like we have, which is to make it, you know, our vision is to lift the vibration of the planet, one meditator at a time. So it's really big. It actually scares me sometimes. It's like, oh, that's huge.
Right.
But that comes from my experience with David Hawkins, and Hawkins talks about vibration levels, and we can do that.
That's right.
Actually, we've already done it, and because, you know, just anybody's vibration rising up a little bit lifts the whole planet.
Right, and even, you know, I think about if we start our day, think about it if you go to take the bus and you miss it and you get angry, right? If you approach it from a state of love, it doesn't seem so bad. And then, you know, if on the next bus you run into the person you were supposed to meet that day, but otherwise we tend to stew and get into this environment.
Because we imagine that we know best.
That's right, and so I think back to Tony Robbins. And even David Hawkins about state of mind and lifting our vibration. It's amazing. Yes. It's amazing just how our day shifts when we start to come from that perspective and realizing that, okay, I missed my bus, but maybe that was meant to happen.
Perfect.
Yes.
You know, well, and everything is. I mean, one of my affirmations is that, you know, I'm grateful for everything that's happened in my life, because it's brought me to where I am right now, and I wouldn't be me without every single thing.
Yes.
And your battle with, you know, health and over the years, and which doesn't sound like a battle anymore, more like a surrender.
Yeah, you know, I'm still working on it. I've been lucky. So I work in functional medicine, and I came to this industry after going to many different doctors, and I found these lab tests, and so I'm very passionate about it. And actually, I created a website called healingtreealchemy.com, and my goal behind this was to really give people the information that I wished I would have had. So it was about the tools that you can use to figure out what's going on. So we look at specialized testing, from genetic testing to micronutrient testing, heavy metals, to really see what's happening on a physical level. But then part of how I talk about healing is the mind, body, spirit. So yes, using supplements, but also meditation has very real healing powers, like I just talked about with the immunity. Also energy work, how this all comes together. And that's why I talk about alchemy. You know, it's a little bit of magic. It's drawing from here, it's drawing from here, and it's using your intuition.
It seems like magic.
It seems like magic, but you know, I know for me, when I meditate, going, who do I need to see, you know, for this physical problem?
Yes.
And I get my answers that way, right? We are meant to have the ability to heal ourselves. I love having doctors and surgeons, and if I'm in a car accident,
You're damn well right.
I want that. But if I'm lacking a certain nutrient, I can tell on, you know, these lab tests, but also intuitively our bodies will give us the answer. But it's nice to see it in black and white.
Yeah, muscle testing.
Muscle testing, yeah. And this is really where meditation has become, for me, a good reminder, you know, with my day-to-day health. You know, and actually, you know, one thing that I think we should talk about is grounding and wearing rubber soles. We are beings, and we're made out of, we're like a computer. We operate on an electric circuit.
Mm-hmm.
And when we're not connected to the earth, we tend to be ungrounded. We feel flighty. We feel off. We've all had those days where you just wake up and something is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
If we're not grounding ourselves, we're putting on our rubber soles and going through our day. We're preventing the electricity, the vibration from coming through. This is why we see people who work on electrical lines, they wear the super insulated rubber boots because it prevents the flow of energy. So just be mindful, you know, if you haven't been outside for a while, it's winter here, but even just taking off your shoes and walking barefoot in your home, that will help to ground you. And just you're going to feel just even a change in your body that way.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm at least 8 months of the year I'm in sandals, but
Yeah.
I love to be barefoot. In Bali, I'm in
Yeah.
Bali a lot.
Yes.
I'm barefoot in Bali a lot. And I mean, I even ride my scooter sometimes barefoot and go to the coffee shop.
But
There are no rules.
isn't that why we all feel better when we walk on a beach barefoot?
Yeah.
We're grounding
Yeah,
and we're connecting.
nice. So, would you do a little grounding exercise with us and maybe
Yeah.
you know, lead us into a meditation?
Sure.
One of the things that we like to do every Monday morning, you know, if you're not a regular meditator, I encourage you to even start with 3 minutes or 5 minutes, and just about everybody says, "Wow, yeah, I can do 3 minutes," and often in people's minds who are not regular meditators, they imagine that they have to be able to sit for 2 hours or even 20 minutes.
No.
And no. So we're going to do a short meditation, and Pam's going to lead us into it, and just to give you an example of that. And so if you'd like to meditate with us, that would be great. We really love it if you share this, and if you're watching it through the week, because we're going to repost it, that would be great, and share it with your friends. And also, I think I'll mention right now that we have a meditation, a group meditation that we do here on Monday evenings at 6:30. So just drop by, and I call them Meditation Mondays. I think that my plan, my imagining, my vision is that the meditations will happen all over the world on Monday evenings, and in different cities, and this is the beginning of it. Yeah, just maybe get in a comfortable spot so that you can ride with us, and Pam's going to drive the bus.
Great. Thank you, David. Well, if you've never meditated before, a few practical tips. You want to elevate your spine. Our major energy center runs through our spine, which is why it's important that we sit up. You know, if you're not on a stool, you want to be in a chair that's supportive, that has a good grounding back. You don't want to be leaning back. So make sure the chair is not too comfortable. And with your chin, what you want to do is just drop it down slightly. This allows us to receive when we're in this position. So I'm going to ask you to close your eyes, and we're going to start with 3 deep breaths. So we're going to inhale and out. Inhale and out. And one more. And out. Good. I'm going to walk us through a grounding meditation like I alluded to. Once we're finished, we're just going to sit in silence for 2 minutes, and after that, I'll bring us out of the meditation. So what we're going to do is another deep breath in, and as we exhale, I want you to envision roots growing out of your feet, strengthening your connection with the earth, going through the floor, into the dirt, through the various layers of rock, all the way down to the core of the earth. Here we can be connected with the earth's energy. As we inhale, we're going to inhale the earth's energy. Deep breath in, and as we exhale, release the negativity, tension, anxiety that's stored in your system. Another breath in and out, and release. The Earth's energy has a very slow, strong, pulsating frequency. You may or may not be able to feel it. If you can, just try and feel it pulsing through your body. At this point, we're going to open up our crown chakra, and envision a beautiful white light above our head. It's pouring down this white, beautiful, shimmering purple light into our head, full of divine love, which is warm. Feel it coming into your head, your shoulders and arms, into your chest, through your torso, down your hips, into your legs and feet. Feel yourself cloaked in this warm blanket that is comforting and soothing. And at this point, we're just going to take one more deep breath in. You're grounded, and as you release, just drop down into your meditation. If thoughts come, acknowledge them, place them into your bubble, onto your leaf, and send them on your way. Deep breath in and out. Release. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Come back. How do you feel?
Amazing.
Good.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. If you're watching and you're frustrated and you felt like you couldn't do it, it's like anything. We go to the gym to make our muscles stronger. The more we go, the better we get.
Practice.
It's the same with meditation. And if you're struggling, come to a guided meditation. David will be hosting a meditation tonight at 6:30 at Bali and Beyond.
So I'm going to put you on the spot.
Sure. Yeah.
I'd love it if you would come, if not tonight, next week.
Yes, absolutely.
And guide, kind of lead the meditation for, we're usually we run from 6:30 to 7:30, and in that period of time we sit for about 20 minutes. And would you?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to come. Let's find a date that works for both of us.
All right. So we'll post it
Yes.
on this when we repost this, and yeah, great.
Thank you for asking me.
Yeah, I
It'd
think
be my honor.
that would be so super. What else can we tell you about? There's the meditation that we do at 6:30, and we'd love it if you go to our site, our website, and check out our stools, and check out, we have altars and all the pieces that you might want to have if you're going to create a sacred space in your home. And Pam's given you a whole lot of the science behind it, and check out Pam's website too, because she has like so much personal experience of, if you have something that's happening in your physical being, in your wondering, you know, how to figure out what it is. And I suspect you have doctors that you're connected with as well.
I am, yeah. So happy to give recommendations if you're struggling. Where I really specialize is fatigue, autoimmune, and digestive issues. But you can check out my website at healingtreealchemy.com. And, you know, for anyone who's local to Calgary, I encourage them to come down and check out your products. You've got a whole room full of amazing things that would complement any space.
You say that way better than I do. You do. So that's it. Come down and visit us and check out Pam's site. And we're on YouTube, and you know, we're getting really close to having 1,000 subscribers. So we need you to subscribe to us on YouTube and get us over that hump. It's a whole other world when we have 1,000 subscribers, and like 940 or something right now. So we're close. And on Twitter, and we do a lot of stuff on Instagram. So find us there and you know, become part of the community. I think it's something we can all get behind. We want to lift the vibration of the planet, one meditator at a time. And I see it as a cause, you know, and it's focusing on the solution worldwide than the problem. If our vibration is lifted, everything changes. And we want to make meditation easy, inviting for everyone, and have a meditation space in every home and place of work. And not a big goal, is it? It really is. So love you guys. Thanks so much for dropping in on with us. Yeah, and thank you, Pam, for
Thanks, David.
Awesome.